I'm Ethan with Standing Stone Kennels, and this is Kat. We're going to show you a little more unstructured training and how you can develop proper behaviors in your puppy. Now, you're going to see that we've got a spunky Miss Rogue here, and she'll be in and out of the clip a little bit. We just got home from buying groceries. We're going to put these away, and we're actually going to sit down and maybe start to eat dinner and kind of explain how we can work with Rogue through that process. A couple different things that we like to do are going to be, we've got a little jar that we keep some treats in. She's already eaten her evening meal. So you'll get the opportunity to see her playing a little bit. We've got a toy for her, and you may have heard that squeak a couple times already. So we're probably on the edge of her having to lose those toys. An occasional accidental squeak isn't a big deal, but if they find a squeaker in a toy, it's a big thing we recommend not having. Once they find that squeaker and she just wants to run around and squeak, 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 then we take that away pretty quick. But I've got a few treats here to give her some rewards when she does things right, as well as I do have my clicker sitting here with, so that we'll have the ability to mark some simple things. These are going to be different behaviors that we're looking for. They aren't necessarily things that we ask for, but she's going to learn how to get rewarded for things that she's doing. That may sound a little bit confusing, but for example, if she comes over and looks at me without jumping or without doing anything else other than stops and stands there or comes and sits down, then she's going to get a reward. If she wants to play with her toy, that's also acceptable. She did eat and go out to go to the bathroom before we came up here, but there's a good chance that we'll catch her needing to go potty in this too. So we're going to go ahead and get these groceries put away, and you'll see what we're doing with Rogue throughout that process. She stops. Good. We're going to start this process with that. Good girl. Good. Yeah. Now, she is paying a little more attention now because she got her first reward and tried to jump up on my leg. I gave her zero attention, either positively or negatively for that. And as soon as she stops or is doing more what we're looking for, we can mark that and reward her. Good. And hopefully, you'll get to see a progression through this process that now you can see she's attentive, but not good. Again, not jumping.
Oh, and then I distracted her.
A little too distracting. Good girl. Again, we've got her focus, and she's going to get more rewards to begin with, and then the amount of time and the amount of, good, the amount of well-behavedness she's going to have is going to increase. So give her a little more time. And you'll see too, if we push this too far, for example, if I ignore this specific situation, even though it's well-behaved, she may get frustrated and she may come and jump on us. And we'll be able to judge how much of an attention span she has and be able to build off that. If it's paying attention and sitting for like 2 or 3 seconds and then she starts to get frustrated, we need to operate on her level and provide her with more frequent rewards for what she's doing right. If she can behave for longer periods of time, and that's what we want to keep pushing that envelope so that she understands she needs to be sitting or standing, not jumping, and we're going to hold this. Even though she's already done it right, I still don't want to develop every time she gets a treat, she has to jump up and take it from me. Everything the dogs are doing, they're developing and they're conditioning themselves to expect that has to be the way it's done each and every time. So if we can condition the right behaviors, it's going to make that easier as we go along. Get some yams put away, huh?
But the number one thing that we are specifically working on is developing non-jumping, non-naughty behaviors. So she's getting rewarded for sitting or standing or just giving us eye attention and eye contact because she's so little right now that she can't counter surf. But these jumping up behaviors that she's trying to exhibit, which that was a little bit of a, hey, I'm sitting, didn't you pay attention to me? I'm frustrated, so I'm going to jump at you routine. So the next time she sits and behaves, she'll get a reward. But she's so little that those jump up behaviors aren't counter surfing yet. And so we want to eliminate the jumping up behaviors in the kitchen prior to her getting big enough to counter surf. And the way that we're going to do that is rewarding the good behaviors. If you will, we're going to teach her how to beg and ask for attention properly.
Good girl. Good girl.
Yeah, excellent. This is how we start all of our dogs. It may be a little bit different than the way some people do, but the dogs are a big part of our family. So the expectation for us is that they will have to be out and they will have to be involved in things. And rather than no dogs are allowed in the kitchen or anything else, that only works for so long. We try and teach them how to get our attention. And they're going to get our attention not by jumping, not by bouncing, not by barking at us. They're going to get our attention by sitting and behaving, or standing and behaving. Again, we're standing this time. Good. But we've got her attention and her focus. This also, developing this is going to allow us to be able to more easily pay attention to her. If she wants to be focused on what we're doing, we're going to be able to better focus on the fact that she needed to go potty versus she's playing over here and we didn't see her wander into the other room and potty on the carpet. So lots of different things that this is beneficial for. Good. You want anything to drink?
Probably just some water. As well as you guys get a sneak peek into dinner time at our house, so.
Good.
We're really fancy tonight. We've got some grocery store sushi.
Yeah.
You want some water or anything?
I would love some. So here we've got naughty behavior, looking for attention, followed by good behavior. Good girl. And at this point, we're basically going to ignore anything other than what she's doing right. It's fairly easy at this stage of the game to do that. Good. Almost had one there. So she comes over. Good girl. And you can see how this is working already with her. She's attentive, she's focused. She came over and sat down to get my attention as opposed to coming over and jumping on me. Now, that doesn't mean that she's going to be perfect from here on out. She's going to figure out, though, that she gets no attention when she's not doing something right, and she gets my attention when she is doing something right. Good. Good girl. Like I was explaining, we're going to continue to build off of the amount of time in between her individual rewards. We've got her attention again. You can see she's trying to do whatever it is to get another reward.
Oh, for a second, I thought we were out of soy sauce. That would have been bad.
You want it in here?
Yeah.
Oh, there's some that came in the package too, though.
Well.
How much does you want in there?
A little bit.
Yep.
Oh, we got a good girl behind me.
Mm-hmm.
And now a naughty girl.
Yep, so we kind of get to see there, she is trying to figure out how to get our attention, and we maybe push that envelope a little bit too far. Not rewarding her often enough. It's going to provide grounds for her looking for a way to get our attention. So we'll know that we need to open that or shorten that window just a little bit.
Which involves us paying just a little more attention to what she's doing.
Mm-hmm. Good girl. Yeah, that's how you get attention. You saw again, there was no negative, there was no positive. Any attention given when she jumped up on my leg. I didn't push her down. A lot of times we get a little too handsy in that respect, like you push the dog down. Well, there's not a whole lot of difference between that and getting pet, other than a verbal scolding. But when dogs are looking for attention, they can be a lot like children, and they'll take whatever kind of attention they can get, whether that's positive or negative. They just want our attention. So
I'm gonna go check and see if we have any questions on our little live video
I
here.
think I can pull that up
On your phone?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look like we have any questions yet that I've seen. Oh, maybe. I don't see a mug with a nightcap in it anywhere. Well, maybe a little later this evening. We're still working. She is going to be a quiet dog. She is fairly quiet. She does have a voice box every once in a while when she wants out of her crate. And that's probably something else that we can mention is when we're developing our puppy's behaviors in crate training as well, if she's being noisy, she's not going to get attention one way or the other until she's being quiet and exhibiting the behavior that we want.
Yeah, she's not much of a barker. She's definitely not much of a barker. Good.
Good girl. So as you can see, we're getting a lot of focus. She's ignoring her toys right now, and she's not jumping up on us. She's realizing that the way she's getting the attention and the rewards is for good behaviors like sitting or even just standing there and giving eye contact. And she's also taking the treats very nicely from us, not jumping up at our hands for the treats anymore.
And we got one comment from Zach about using the clicker training. You can see merit in it. It's really good. The clicker training itself is an awesome way to be able to show the dog that at that moment what they were doing was right. It kind of takes a picture or a snapshot, and it says, boom, right there. That's right. Okay, so again, you can see I'm going to close this out. She's looking again for attention, trying to figure out how to get that, and we're just going to show her that that is not the way by not giving it to her. She sits back down. Good girl. Good girl.
And she can also get affection and get pet for being a good girl and not jumping up on us too.
You got the one with the tuna or the salmon?
The salmon. You want to trade? And just so everyone knows, Rogue is not getting sushi for her treats. She's getting little dog biscuits for her treats.
Yeah, because we mention a lot that we typically use their meals for training sessions, and we okay, there we go. It looked like it was still. We use their meals for training sessions a lot of times, but she's already been fed this evening, so this would be another example of more. We do have some other training treats that we can use as reward. I'm gonna move that up just a little bit more. We're gonna do a little toy killing. Unstructured playtime is also okay. Again, there was one little squeak out of the toy. We just want to make sure that that doesn't become too consistent or...
Like that?
Like that. Yeah, she's kind of on the edge of needing to get rid of squeaky toys.
Yeah, I'm training you. Just a minute.
All right, so we got another question. I have two counter surfers, Rory and Ellie. They are not with their e-collars, but you don't want them to have to wear them all the time in the house. Can this be taught while not wearing their e-collars in the house? Yeah, it can be done exactly the same way that we are working with her now. It's rewarding them. Now, granted, once they've figured out the counter surfing aspect of things, the problem that you'll probably run into the most is when you're not around, I would assume, more than when you're actually standing there. They kind of learn, I'm not supposed to do this when mom and dad are standing here watching me, but I can get away with it when no one's looking. And you can use mouse traps. This is one way that a lot of people, or I've seen people do it before, is set up mouse traps along the edge of the countertop. And it's not to pinch them or catch them, but if they get up there and bump the mouse trap, then it startles them, and that will be enough of a deterrent when there's nobody there. So it kind of makes the correction without you having to be there or them having to have their collars on. But while you are around, rewarding them just like what we're doing with this little girl this evening works really well.
This is a new toy. I traded her for the last toy that she was really getting pretty squeaky about, which was one of her puppy toys as she was younger. Now that she's getting older, she's doing a little more squeaking. And this toy just crinkles, and it has a rope through it, and it's still soft and plush, but there isn't a squeaker, which is very hard to find, actually. Non-squeaky toys are pretty few and far between.
Yes, they are. Yeah, when I have my back turned or leave the room, Brian says, that's when they do it. And the mousetrap thing can be pretty effective. It's one of those that it gets them when, and again, it doesn't typically get the dog itself, just snaps and startles them. Even if it does, it's not going to hurt them. I mean, we've been up for probably 20, 30 minutes since she went to the bathroom last, so I'm going to take her to go to the bathroom, and then we'll be right back here.
We can double check and see if there's any other questions that popped up. If there's any other questions, feel free to ask them. I know I'm not really on camera and you don't necessarily want to see me eat anyway, so.
Good, and we're back. She said she had to pee really bad. It's a part of being proactive in our house training, showing her where she needs to go out and go to the bathroom, as well as
pay attention to the time that she's spent out.
exactly. So she is looking for attention again. And for the most part, unless this gets just too bad where they won't stop jumping on you, good girl, then we're going to ignore it. And it's really easy to do the ignoring part of this when they're younger. If you've got a dog that's 5, 6, 7, 8 months old or a year, and you start this, it's going to be a little harder to just ignore them if they're jumping on you because they're bigger and they can knock you down or hurt you when they're jumping on you.
It's a
So
lot harder to ignore when they're that big.
starting it when they're little is the key. Good girl.
And we've definitely been extending the amount of time that she is being patient and waiting for us to notice that she's doing a good job. Like right now. It looks like we're still live.
It says broadcast interrupted and then it kicks back on.
Okay. So sorry about that. I thought I'd gotten my phone turned to do not disturb during this live video, but apparently I missed a few things. Like, also my phone is available via Wi-Fi calling, so.
If you have it on do not disturb, it should still.
I do have it on do not disturb, but. See, it says do not disturb.
Lots and lots of attention. Focus.
And you did take her toy away, so
Yeah.
that's her only option.
Okay. Good girl. Good girl. Yeah, good girl. So that is how we, let me go ahead and move this back up so you can see us a little bit. We're going to move it back up, right?
It looks like it, yep. Yep.
Perfect. That's how we like to start developing our young puppies. We've given her now the opportunity to play with this toy, which is going to pull her focus away from us, but still give her something to do and burn off some energy and steam that way. We do this most every evening. This is how she gets the opportunity to interact with us, and developing this from little puppy on allows us to, like we always preach, develop the behaviors that we want to see out of our puppies that we want to see out of our dogs as adults. So
We had one last question.
yeah.
Any future issues with feeding the reward straight from the counter?
That's a great question. I personally have not seen them because we're again developing the opportunity. We're developing the behavior that she gets them from us. She never gets them from getting them off the counter. Now, if I were to leave her out unattended when she got older, would she possibly try and counter serve? There's the potential for that. But for the most part, she's not going to know that that exists. Yes, they come, I mean, I'm taking them off the counter, but she's getting them from me more than...
And getting them for good behaviors, not jumping up on the counter.
Exactly. Now, there would definitely be the potential for something to happen, but no, I haven't personally seen issues with that. If you guys have more questions, feel free to continue commenting as you watch. But we're going to sign off for now, and we will tune back in with her next training session. Thanks.